Hi there, welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Lindholm. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello, Goddess. Thank you for tuning in today. Your host, Kaylee Lindholm here, the CEO of KLC Consulting. And this is a very exciting week for us over here at KLC because we have been in the process of really a tactical restructuring of the business. And many of the tangible elements of this 9-month-long rebrand are finally coming into play. And we regularly work with clients who are undergoing structural rebranding, meaning they aren't just looking for a new logo and color palette, but they're really reimagining, renewing the business infrastructure. For example, business owners who started the business with their namesake and are ready to move into a model of growth that allows them to separate from the business as the solo or even primary service provider. So as an example, one of our brilliant clients, she's a board certified nurse practitioner and aesthetic injector who is very well known for her skill. Her business is named after her, but she's ready to expand her business to a point where the brand is no longer centered around her, but is now about an overarching brand and philosophy that allows her to recruit passionate employees into her business who can skillfully deploy her dream, a vision of expansion that will allow her to build a freedom-based business that really allows her to design a preeminent business that prioritizes her health, wealth, impact, and freedom. How does that sound? Amazing, right? And that's essentially the core principle of the work we're doing over here at KLC, building programs that educate, engage, and really usher ambitious female CEOs into a new framework for growth that empowers them to trust their damn instincts, right? Listen to yourself, girlfriend. Realize their potential and finally tap into their burning desire to disrupt the status quo. Amazing. I love it. And really to disrupt outdated business models and the samey systems that are so often the bottleneck to rich fulfillment in our lives. I mean, long gone are the days of Mad Men, right? You guys remember Mad Men when dad went to the office and had a scotch with the guys while mom cooked, cleaned, and bathed the children. The world just doesn't function like that anymore. And for female founders and CEOs, this means we need to design our role in our business differently, more strategically, more methodically. And for you, this means investing and developing into the woman you are meant to become. And so our team is preparing to launch an incredible body of work this week that I'll tell you a little bit more about at the end of this episode. A body of work that brings women in aesthetics through a very powerful process through which we are calling our Confidence to Scale certification program, or CTS. And as I was developing the resource guides to support this new program, I began to think about my own journey. And really, I was thinking about what it means to rebrand. This is a buzzy word, right? And how this transformation is so often poorly executed. Because to clearly convey a brand promise to your client, it's important for you and for them to understand where you're coming from and what guiding principles are driving your intentions so they can imagine themselves as a new version of themselves through your story and in partnership with the new version of you. Does that make sense? So today I thought it would be valuable to share a little bit of what that journey has been for me and the 4 elements to my growth philosophy, one that we not only coach by, but that we also grow our own business by. So first, I'll tell you a little bit about me. I consider myself a reformed corporate ladder climber, right? Like out of college, that's all I wanted to do was become the boss, right? And I did that for a little while and then found myself as a partner of a multiple 7-figure aesthetic institute who was running as a managing partner the growth and the build out of multiple divisions of this institute, building team and working from on the flip side of corporate, really inside of a practice and learning what it was like to build a business from the ground up. And from there, I eventually started and launched this Pop Aesthetic Leadership Academy, where we are really shifting the narrative around business growth, one empowered woman and enlightened man, I shall say, at a time. And, from the day I got paddled, did you guys have that in elementary school? I actually got paddled for nicknaming the mean teachers in elementary school. So my friends and I wrote down nicknames for like the bad teachers and I got paddled. It's like funny to even say that now. I can't even imagine that happening. But from that to the time that I was quote unquote relieved of my column in my university school newspaper for politically unflattering honesty, I have really never excelled at following rules, or as I like to lovingly refer to as groupthink. And I used to think that this out-of-the-box kind of thinking and vision was really a weakness of mine. Definitely got me in trouble a lot until I really discovered that I wasn't the problem. There was a complacency and apathy of the agencies that I was raised in that only knew how to do it the way it had been done before. Status quo essentially represented the peak of the bell curve and still does in many places. And I can't tell you how many business owners I meet that tell me that they just couldn't work for a boss. Like they literally couldn't keep a job or they were always unhappy in a reporting structure. And that is what inspired them to start their business. And I think back to the day before I graduated with my business degree, I was hired as a sales rep, essentially in a sales role by a global Fortune 100 healthcare company. And I thereby met the medical system. So I spent a half a decade listening to stories of my brilliant physician clients who were doing literal backflips to fight insurance companies for access to optimal care plans, prescriptions, and treatment plans for their patients. And here they were essentially just double taping Band-Aids on wounds that were caused by systemic issues that just were the way they were. I could get into a rabbit hole about our healthcare system here, but essentially, there was something wrong. And when I was recruited to take a role with an aesthetic company launching a revolutionary product in the aesthetic space for skin brightening, I very quickly fell in love with the direct care model. Physicians could be uninhibited in their approach to patient care. They could be creative and thought-provoking. They could get paid what they were worth. They could become entrepreneurs. They were happier and they could change lives in the process. But there was a catch. There wasn't business training in medical school. Ouch. The models that these overachieving now clients of mine had been raised by were first off already broken and were never intended to support a thriving multi-million-dollar empire that they were set out to construct. And that's where I realized something needed to change. We needed to stop focusing on teaching already incredible doctors and healthcare providers to just doctor better and patients will come. We needed to teach them how to become better leaders. But first and foremost, we need to separate the title of NP or MD or RN or whatever label you subscribe to from the human being that you are and empower you to access all of your incredible attributes. And what I found was the most important of those probably was just the burning desire to be different and make change. And so through this experience, I felt like this was really a catalyst for me. It was a calling. And for those of you who listen to this podcast, you know that I'm on a mission to help 100 inspiring and intentional women cross the next $1 million milestone in their business this year. And in order to do this, we've had to make at times difficult decisions to grow, not in a popular way, not in a speedy, fast way, not in a way that makes us look good just on paper, right? We have decided and made intentional decisions in a way to grow the business that will create a more sustainable future for myself, for my team, for the business itself, and, be more fulfilling for me. And ultimately, that all centers around 4 core growth philosophies. And that's really what I want to share with you today. This is really about how we think and therefore operate. So if you work with us, these are going to be themes that you're going to be building your business by, that you're going to be hearing us talk through. They're really going to be bigger than the tactics. They're bigger than the mechanics. These are essentially the central guiding light behind how we approach the decisions or the tactics or the mechanics in the business. And so number one is start with who. I actually recorded a whole podcast episode, number 28, around this topic. The central idea being that if you surround yourself with people who drain your energy, who steal your joy, or who make you resent the work you do, your why, quite frankly, doesn't matter. Today on a coaching call, conversation came up about raising prices and how 10% of clients might be disgruntled. But are those the people that you even want to spend your limited time with? Think about the bigger picture. You might ask yourself, are you accepting any patient or customer who comes to you? Are you giving your time to someone who's unappreciative of your incredible talents? We believe that when you focus on building a team of passionate entrepreneurs and you seek out mentors and colleagues who inspire you, you work with patients that you love, you will take control of your personal brand and reputation and position yourself in a category of one, because it's in this space that you'll be able to effortlessly attract higher-end clients who recognize your brilliance, support, and uplift you, right? How about leaving work with more energy, right? Dramatically impact the quality of your life by assembling a bright, high-performing team of people around you. You'll be able to preserve your energy and fuel your creativity, which is the thing that's going to essentially differentiate you from just being another Me Too copycat marketer. And work with people who deeply appreciate the impact that you are set out to make in your life. And so that's why the number one growth philosophy for me is to really start with the who and think about who you want to become and who you want to have around you in your life and in your business. Growth philosophy number two for me is don't build a business, build an ecosystem. This is so interrelated with starting with who, right? You're a human being with thoughts and belief systems that will ultimately drive the way you make decisions in your business. They're not independent, right? Ultimately, you and your business are one. You are your business. And so we believe that the nuances inside your business are just one aspect of the dynamic woman that you are. And that's why we built a curriculum that is thoughtfully designed to help you construct a framework of resources around you, of relationships and systems that will become an interconnected structure, an ecosystem that makes up your business and life's universe. And I've talked about this in other podcasts, and I've used the analogy of what if, your ecosystem was a pool and you could have 10 people in that pool. Who would you let into that pool? I mean, think about it. If you had limited resources, where would you pull them from? Who would you lean on to be your go-to? And so when I think about that, I think about people that are going to love being in my pool the way it is, right? You're not going to let somebody come in and say, I'll come in if you change the hardscape, or I'll come in if you change the temperature, or I'll come in, but I'm going to go ahead and pee in your pool. You wouldn't allow that, right? You're going to allow people that are going to uplift you and support you and empower you and be in your corner. And we're not talking 100 people, we're talking 10. And so you're going to be really selective about the quality of people that you allow to come into your ecosystem. And so this came up today on a call as well. I think about this with employees. I think so many times when we hire, we're just so excited to get somebody in that position, like to finally fill that role, that we speed up and sometimes make decisions around hiring that are not as discerning as they should be. And so think of this analogy. Are they part of this ecosystem and this infrastructure that you're building that's going to be supportive in the way that you need it to be? And so that starts with the people around you and all of the structures and systems and partnerships and relationships that you design. And that's up to you in leadership. And so that's why I believe as number two core growth philosophy is taking ownership of this ecosystem that you build around you. Growth philosophy number three is to disrupt the status quo. And girlfriend, nothing makes me squirm more than hearing words like, but we've always done it that way. You are a unique, magnetic, powerful leader, and your voice deserves to be heard. You don't have to just do it that way because that's the way it's been done. We consider should, the word should, to be a 4-letter word. right? It is just not allowed. You're not allowed to say that if you work in our company, and you're going to get buzzed. Like you're going to get you're going to get called out if you say should when you work with me, because there is no such thing as should. It's either choosing to do something the way that you want to do it or not doing it at all. There is no should. And so it's time to really rewrite the existing models and do it your own way. In fact, our absolute magic is helping leaders push the boundaries of what society deems acceptable. Okay. We believe in ingenuity, in innovation, and in creativity. And we'll challenge you, and we challenge ourselves to ditch the vanilla marketing and to stand out as the powerful woman that you are. Think unconventional, be iconic. Number 4 growth philosophy is to make pleasure your primary KPI, or a key performance indicator. So I really believe that the goal should be to design a business that creates lifelong wealth and freedom for yourself and for your family. So many times business owners will ask how to prepare for retirement, and this is absolutely a critical component of planning for the future. But I think that rather than looking at a plan for retirement, how do you build a business that you never want to retire from? We believe that cash is a vital tool to helping you achieve a life of pleasure, but revenue growth just isn't the dominant goal. We can help you, and we believe that if we develop assets that will catapult our influence, the investments that generate wealth, and a lifestyle that rewards hard work, and also replenishment, luxury, and sustainability. So essentially, it's time to ditch the samey cookie cutter approach and create new models. And that's why I wanted to share with you my growth philosophy. Yes, I have a business degree. Yes, I believe that there are certain levers that you can push in your business to grow your revenues. I think that there are components of business that can be cookie cutter, and you can watch a YouTube video and learn about those. I think there are certain tactics that may be more helpful for your business than not having them. But at the end of the day, it's about practical and strategic thought leadership to help you build a deeply satisfying, lucrative, freedom-based business that stands the test of time, and to do it your way. This morning, as I'm talking through this, I went this morning with a girlfriend of mine to try to do some work with a new golf coach, just to kind of check out a different sort of technique. And we had a lesson together, and her golf coach said, I don't want you listening to anything I'm teaching her, because your swing is at a different place than her swing, right? And I kind of had an internal chuckle as she said that, because I think that there are no businesses that are identical. It's like, for me, this literally happened. Someone called and said, can we get a 2-for-1 discount if 2 of us come into your academy, together? Or can we sign up as a team, because we essentially have the same business? And it was funny because I think every couple, that's married has a marriage, but no marriage is the same. And that was sort of how I thought through that process. They're all different because everybody has different goals. Not only are we all different people, we have different personalities and belief systems and thought processes, but we have different outputs that we want to get from our business. And so to jump into an existing model and to say that that's the way that it needs to be done, that's the way it should be done, to me, that's just antiquated thinking. I think it's time to rewrite the rules for female CEOs and aesthetics, because I believe that you can have it all. But I believe that starts by accessing your most empowered self and realizing what you're actually capable of. Do you even know what you're capable of? Seriously, can you imagine? What if you couldn't fail? What would you attempt? It's about owning your power, saying enough is enough, and making that one empowered decision that will knock down the remainder of the dominoes standing between you and your most fulfilling and enriched life. A life that's filled with joy and freedom. Freedom to travel, freedom to invest in high quality, luxurious experiences, the freedom to be the mom, the wife, the friend, or the powerhouse businesswoman that you were meant to be, or all of it. You don't have to fall into that mechanics trap of shiny new tactics, latest and greatest, or business speak that makes no sense to your pleasure and satisfaction in your business. Focus on the things that matter. Invest in becoming that woman and not letting anything get in your way. You're an ambitious, highly skilled provider who's essentially begun to build an empire with nothing but your bare hands, some selective tools, your unique approach, and a passion to succeed. And you're probably booked solid, you're growing an organic following, and your clients, they come to you for you. You're charging prices in line with your work, you're well marketed, and of course, there's always room for growth. But you've got the essentials locked down and it's working. And if you're anything like me, you appreciate all the cookie cutter, whitewash templated advice you're hearing from so-called experts, but you're craving a more sophisticated conversation. You aren't looking to survive. You're looking to build a preeminent brand that stands as a category of one. And so I want to introduce you today to the Confidence to Scale framework. And I've created this framework to function as a new ideology for you that will allow you to gain the unshakable confidence to set out on a growth path that's in alignment with your core values and steadily grows your cash reserves, your profits, and your legacy without grinding down your energy and freedom in the process. This framework is comprised of 6 buildable milestones that will give you the playful, unshakable resilience to weather adversity and scale your business with intention. And at one point, I had to ask myself, Kaylee, is your business nourishing you, or are you nourishing your business? Who is feeding who? Or what is feeding who, or who is feeding what? And it's at this inflection point that a powerful decision needs to be made. Stay where you are or do things differently. Become the change and create a new model for growth that is driven by assets instead of your hard work. If this is you, if you are ready to take that leap, you are ready to unleash. Leader, this is your place. This is your time. And I am your guide. And Confidence to Scale is for you. So if this sounds like you, if you're listening to this and you're like, girlfriend, I'm all up on board with this growth philosophy. I am ready to live an enriching, fulfilling lifestyle where my business is set up in a way that it is feeding me through assets and it's not relying on me, my hard work, my bare hands, my stress, all of the things that you're pouring into your business anymore. You can go to klcconsultants.com/scale. Again, it's klcconsultants.com/scale. Learn more. Once you get in there, you can fill out a very brief application. It asks just a few questions, and that's essentially for us to ensure that this program is going to be the right fit for you and be the kind of resource that will create the results that we expect for our clients. P.S. This program is available at a very low introductory rate right now, and it will double next month. So don't wait, jump into this program and create the business that you were meant to lead. Okay, thank you so much, leader. Have a great week, and I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me for this episode of The Fierce Factor. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure you subscribe so you can automatically get new shows every week. I'd also love it if you left us a review. And come join the conversation online. If you're an aesthetic industry owner, operator, or leader, please join my free Facebook group, The Tribe of Fierce Aesthetic Leaders, a community of ambitious, purpose-driven professionals who collaborate and share best practices for growth in business and life. I'm honored you tuned in.